Are you thinking about buying a home in Northern Virginia? And whether you're relocating to Northern Virginia or already live here, this is gonna be a video you're not gonna wanna miss. Because I'm gonna share with you 7 mistakes you must avoid when buying a home right here in Northern Virginia. And make sure you watch this video all the way to the end, because number 7 on this list is hands down the biggest mistake you will not wanna make. So sit back, relax, because we're getting started right now. Hey everybody, it's David, your favorite realtor, and welcome back to another video. Northern Virginia home buyer mistakes to avoid. So how did I come up with this list? Well, there's 2 main things. One is you want to avoid some of these mistakes to make your home buying process as easy and smooth as possible. And secondly is getting the most bang for your buck. Can you go ahead and buy that house for $1 million? Absolutely. But why not buy a very comparable house for $800,000? And I don't know about you, I love saving money and getting the best value possible. Now let's get the video started right now with the first mistake you must avoid when buying a home right here in Northern Virginia, with not getting pre-approved before shopping for homes. So imagine this, you've been looking at homes online for a few months now, you're even talking to a realtor as well. However, you have not gone through the pre-approval process, and it's a Sunday afternoon, you happen to be driving around and you see an open house sign. So you pop in and guess what? This is the house you've been looking for, your absolute dream house. Updated kitchen, beautiful private backyard, checks all the boxes that you're looking for. And then you call your realtor and you say, hey, I want to submit an offer on this house. So what are the next steps of the process? Well, your realtor finds out that there's multiple offers on this house and offers are due in 1 hour. Well, since you're not pre-approved, you have to get pre-approved and you still have to submit the offer, which takes time. So the chances that you can get pre-approved and submit a written offer in less than an hour are close to 0. And now you just lost out on your dream home. You are so devastated. And all of this could have been prevented had you been pre-approved ahead of time. So even if you're 6 months away from buying a house, reach out to a local reputable lender. They're gonna help point you in the right direction. You must get your ducks in a row. First, they'll help you with your credit, because you want to have your credit as high as possible, because that will determine what interest rate you get, which will reflect what your monthly mortgage payment will be. Secondly, they'll go over how much money you need for down payment, how much you need for closing costs, and how much money you need in reserves. So reach out to a local lender as soon as possible, because the absolute last thing you want is for your dream home to hit the market and you're not in a position yet to submit an offer on it. Next mistake you must avoid, and that is buying a home over your budget. So when you go to get pre-approved with a lender, they're gonna share with you your max pre-approval amount. So let's say it's $800,000 for example. Now, just because you're approved for $800,000 definitely does not mean you should buy a home for $800,000. I think you should be looking at homes in that $600,000 to $700,000 range, because the last thing you want is to be house poor. Now, the lender may say you can comfortably afford the down payment and the monthly mortgage payment, but only you can say for certain if you can comfortably afford that. Because if a big chunk of your income is going towards your mortgage payment, well, it's gonna be tough to save, it's gonna be tough to invest money, it's gonna be tough to go on vacations, or what if an emergency happens? It can be very stressful when the majority of your monthly income is going towards your mortgage payment. And this is always home buyers' biggest regret, is buying a home above their budget. Next on the list is not being open to other areas. So let's use this example. Let's say you want to live in Ashburn, Virginia, and you definitely want a single family home and you want it under $750,000. Well, realistically, that's gonna be very challenging to find, because so far this year in Ashburn, only 6 single family homes have sold under $750,000. So it's gonna be extremely challenging to find that house. However, if you open to other areas of Northern Virginia, like Western Loudoun or the Gainesville Haymarket area, which are fantastic areas to live, by the way, well, those areas you can easily find single family homes under $750,000. You never know, you may check out those areas and realize, hey, this area is almost just as nice as living in Ashburn for 20% less. Again, when you're shopping for a home, it is not all about buying the most expensive home you can afford. It's about getting the best value possible. And to get the best value possible, sometimes you have to look into other areas of Northern Virginia. Next mistake you must avoid is not doing research on that area and neighborhood before submitting an offer. Now let's say you found the perfect house. Again, it checks every box. Beautiful home. This is exactly what you and your family have been looking for. But the actual house is only part of the equation. What's the neighborhood like? What's the area like? You're gonna wanna check these out. One thing I definitely recommend is, after you've seen the house in person and you're considering submitting an offer on that house, drive around the neighborhood. What kind of cars are parked in the road? What kind of people are walking by? And better yet, if you really want to get the inside information on a neighborhood, talk to the neighbors. Most neighbors are very happy to tell you all the good and bad about their neighborhood. Also check like where's the closest gas station, closest grocery store? Does that match exactly what you're looking for? How long is your commute going to be to and from work? All of these are huge factors determining if this is the right house for you or not. Because the last thing you want to do is just buy a house and then you actually do move in and you realize you just hate the neighborhood, you hate the location, and all of this could have been prevented had you done some research ahead of time. Next on the list is trying to time the market. Trying to time the market is this. Let's say you're ready and able to buy a home right now, but you're saying to yourself, I'm gonna wait a year, maybe 18 months because home prices are gonna crash then. And chances are your timing is not gonna be accurate. In fact, I can remember when the pandemic started back in 2020, and I remember at least 8 or 9 buyers that I can think of off the top of my head. They were all under contract around that time when the pandemic started, and they all canceled their contract because they all thought to themselves, home prices are gonna plummet. I'll just buy this home again when it's half the price. Well, obviously we all know the opposite happened. In the last 2 years, home values have shot about 40% across the board. So unfortunately, all of these buyers ended up regretting their decision. So I always say this, there's no best time to buy a house except when you're ready. When you're in a strong financial position, you have a strong need and motivation for a house, and last but not least, you plan to hold this house long term, at least 5 years, but ideally 7+ years. Now, the next mistake you must avoid is you're only open to buying a new construction home. Now, I love new construction homes. In fact, I personally bought a new construction home last year, and I'm not telling you not to buy a new construction home, but definitely be open to a resale property. New construction only makes up about 10% of our inventory, so if you're only set on a new construction home, you're saying no to 90% of the market. And also, you are gonna pay a premium for that new construction home, anywhere from $50,000 to up to $300,000 more compared to a very comparable resale home in the same neighborhood. In fact, I had a client last year, they were looking in a neighborhood that had resale properties and new construction, and they easily could have bought a resale property at that time for like $1.2 million, but they were dead set on the new construction home, so they ended up spending about $1.5 million on that new construction home. So right there, they spent an extra $300,000 for a slightly newer home. Again, I'm not saying don't buy a new construction home, but definitely be open to resale properties because that is where you're gonna find the most value overall. Now, the next mistake you must avoid when buying a home here in Northern Virginia is not working with an A+ professional realtor and local lender combination. Now, this is hands down the biggest potential mistake you could make, especially in this highly competitive market we have here. So who you decide to work with 100% matters. This literally could be the difference between you buying your absolute favorite house or buying your 4th favorite home. And not all realtors and lenders are created equal. And trust me, I have to work with a lot of subpar realtors and lenders every single day. And when you're looking to buy a house, especially in this market, this is not the time to hire your 21-year-old cousin who just got licensed yesterday, because there's a lot of nuances, especially with writing the contract and an offer, because one slight mistake on that contract can literally cost you tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, I remember very well when I was a new agent almost 10 years ago, I didn't know anything about the contracts or the whole process of helping my clients win in a multiple offer scenario. And I'm surprised anybody even hired me back then. And looking back, I wouldn't even hired myself back then. So you definitely want to work with an A+ reputable realtor, like someone like myself, and I would love the opportunity to work with you. But even if it's not me, there's a lot of A+ realtors here in the Northern Virginia area. And then you want to work with a reputable local lender. Now, most buyers do not know this. They don't know the advantages of working with a local lender versus the big banks. Well, unfortunately, the big banks, they do not have a good reputation. They're known for not closing on time and having very bad communication all throughout the process. And especially the big banks, they're only open Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So if it's Sunday evening and the listing agent needs to get a hold of that lender before having the seller accept that contract, well, guess what? The big banks will not be able to answer the phone, but the local lender will. And that could be the difference between you getting your favorite house or, like I said, your 4th favorite house. And trust me on this one, listing agents, they want to work with the local lender because they know that lender's going to get the job done. And guess what? They are the gatekeepers to the actual owners of these properties. Also, I have won many multiple offer scenarios because my clients were working with a strong local lender. And many of these times, we were not even the highest offer. So if you're even thinking about buying a home in Northern Virginia, reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me email. You know I got your back. And if you want to learn more about living right here in Northern Virginia, check out these videos right here. They can be great resources for you. And I'll see you on the next video.